Welcome to Season 2 of The Shift, Stories of Resistance and Resilience, a multi-platform conversation series produced and hosted by me, Mark Travis Rivera, the professional storyteller. I believe that stories have the power to change the world. Through honest conversations and powerful storytelling, we explore how people challenge systems, shift narratives, and transform culture, creating a more inclusive, just, and liberated world in our lives and in our work. Here on this podcast, you'll hear from changemakers, truth tellers, and community builders who are using their voices and their stories to move us forward. So if you believe in the power of storytelling to spark change, you're in the right place. Listen closely, take notes, recognize our shared humanity. This is The Shift. Hey y'all, Mark Travis Rivera here. I am so excited for another conversation of The Shift, Stories of Resistance and Resilience. And I'm super thrilled to be having my colleague and new friend join me today. Before I formally go into her formal bio, I want to say, LinkedIn has connected me to a lot of cool people. And she's one of the people I met through LinkedIn. And, LinkedIn can be a space of very transactional relationships, and I'm very fortunate that my connection with this next guest is transformative, and I'm just excited to get to know her better through this conversation today. So you're in for a treat. And today's guest, without further ado, is Natalie Poindexter, who is a TEDx speaker, founder, and funding system strategist who helps leaders move from chaos to structure without burning out. With over a decade of experience in grant strategy, evaluation, and technical assistance, and a background in pre-hospital EMS, she brings a practical triage and build approach to leadership, boundaries, and sustainable impact. Natalie is the founder of NPI Consulting House and the creator of Scafina, a platform supporting grant and procurement readiness. Her work centers ambitious women, especially women of color, in leading with clarity, confidence, and most importantly, purpose. And she's my guest today on The Shift. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Mark Travis. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you here.
Yeah.
So, before we jump in, who are you outside of the professional highlights I read in your bio?
Oh my gosh. I am learning who that is. I feel like my life has taken me on a path that I didn't understand. And now I am this eclectic diva. I love shoes. I'm a plant mama, originally from Columbus, Ohio, but I live here in Austin, Texas. And it's been the thing that has taught me to fall in love with my purpose. And so it has taken time to get to that bio, but I'm really excited to hear about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I love about you from the moment I met you is just like you just show up, and there's a light about you. And what I admire about you is that in every interaction we've had, I've gotten to know you more and more and more, but your light's always been evident to me. And as someone who's also a firefly, consider myself a firefly, a light source, I know how much energy that takes for the light to come through.
Yeah.
Uh, Especially when entrepreneurship is hard, especially, we'll talk more about the conversation today about the trials and tribulations of entrepreneurship, especially for Black women founders. Um, so I'm just thankful for you and thankful for your time today.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so, what is your personal concept of resistance and resilience? How do you define that for yourself?
Um, Boundaries. I did not understand boundaries when I was growing up. I was taught to believe that give, give, give. And if you receive, there's an ick. And so I had to learn how to experience the opportunity to receive. You mentioned fireflies, and like that kismet conversation was exactly what I needed to hear, but I don't think I would have been able to receive it had I not learned how to build, ship, and iterate myself. I was this human who was people pleasing and trying to be a person for everyone else, and recognize that I was not myself. Even though my light was still there, it wasn't emanating as it could, because I was trying to be small, to
Mm.
be comfortable. I was trying to be um, normal, to be accepted. And it was what was keeping me from learning what resilience really means. And that is finding your true self and then just showing up authentically, even if it's awkward or uncomfortable. You just continuously say, like, this is who I am, and I refuse to be anything else.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
know, and I think really what you get at is this idea that resistance for me has been resisting the societal norms of what it means to be fill in the blank, a man, a queer person, a Latino, a disabled person. Excuse me. And what I heard you just say there really beautifully was this idea that your form of resistance is choosing not to people please, to keep showing up as your full self, and I love that. Um, you recently gave your TEDx talk. Congratulations! I
Thank you so
did
much.
mine over a decade ago, and I cringe every time I see it or hear or think about it. Actually, this month makes it what are we? 2026 or 2014?
Oh,
2020.
wow.
It's been 12 years.
Congratulations.
This week, actually, this week makes it 12 years. Um,
Mm,
ironic. The time of this recording is March 9th. And so it's so interesting because it was one of the hardest things I've ever did, but I can't
mhm,
wait for the next one because I have improved so much as a speaker and storyteller. But doing it so young and so green really helped me. It propelled me to get more confident.
yeah.
Uh, because you kind of have to get out of your system before you can deal with other things. In your TEDx talk, where you shared about purpose and your aspirations to be a superhero, what inspired you to create that particular talk, and why was that so important to you? Especially because you talked around themes around people pleasing, and for me, I'm a recovering perfectionist. So tell me more about this superhero aspiration for you, and how did you come to save yourself from being a people pleaser?
Mm. Um, I have to admit, my first TEDx experience was not the norm. I was invited to join this experience, and so um, I wasn't really sure what to present. And I honestly, and I feel that on that cringe moment where I go back and watch it, and I'm like, oh, girl, that is not what you were supposed to be saying up there. Even though I know it resonated with people, and I know it was a beautiful experience, I recognized that what I really wanted to say was not what I said, because I was still in that, well, I want to make sure that they produce it. I want to make sure that it goes on their channel. I want to make sure that the audience isn't uncomfortable. And really, when I walked off the stage, I'm like, man, if I could go back and just literally start with, I have no clue what's about to come out of my mouth, but I hope you all receive whatever it is I have to give to you, because that is how I left people pleasing behind.
Mm,
I I recognized at an early age that I had this ability to write, speaking, writing, bringing that light to a room. And I always remember people saying, well, I don't know how she got like this,
mm,
right? Family, friends, friends of family. She has such big energy, right? And it was never said in a hostile way or in a toxic way, but it was definitely said in like a, she just loves the spotlight,
mm,
right? Or she's just writing her little poems over here. And what I ended up learning and hearing was, don't take up too much space. Because I couldn't explain why I was a good writer, I could I couldn't become a writer.
mm,
And the reason I say that people are superheroes is because it's the easiest thing I could put into perspective, because we don't question superheroes' abilities, even though they're like not real in the TV version that we've seen, but we just accept it. They can fly.
yeah.
They can shoot spider webs. A spider bit them and now they shoot spider webs, and now they're Now they're a superhero. And so I'm just like, I think about friends who are artists, who are creatives, who, and I said this in the talk, mathematicians,
Yeah.
and they just do it.
Yeah.
They've excelled beyond. And so, what if we started treating these humans instead of questioning them, instead of accusing them of not having enough degrees, certifications, family lineage, right? What if we were just like, no, that's just who they are and that's what they're good at?
Yeah.
And we nurtured that. And so that's why I wanted that superhero piece to be in there.
And I think you bring up a really interesting point, and I think this also ties back to being resilient. There is no life, no version of a life of a creative that is
Mm,
not filled with rejection, self-doubt, scarcity, overwhelmed, a bit of madness, right? And so in the last few days, I've gotten two different major rejections,
mm,
one for a potential consulting contract and one for a choreographic fellowship. And it's also been a very stressful time for the business as we experience growth. We're going through some major growing pains right now, and I had to make a decision to let go of one of my collaborators who just wasn't working out.
yeah.
And it was hard to make the decision, right? It was hard, but it's this creative life that I'm living, right? This firm that I'm developing is birthed out of all of my creativity, all of my talents. So much of my life has been about what people said I couldn't do.
Mm,
You're a disabled person, you can't laugh, you can't dance,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And there's a bit of ego to being an artist, and there's madness. There's also this desire that not producing, not being a creator, not doing the thing that we're meant to do leads to higher rates of mental illness and unhappiness and substance abuse and all these other things, right? There's repercussions to not telling your story, to not telling a story that you have within you.
Mm,
And so while we both may cringe at our TEDx talks, you know, I think we have to be proud of the fact that we dared to do one.
mm. Yes.
And like you, I also was invited. I posted on Facebook that one day I want to give a TEDx talk. And I want to call it Embracing Yourself, Embracing Your Potential. Within 24 hours, that person connected me to the organizer. And within a week, I was confirmed, right? Because we dared to speak into existence.
Yeah. Yes.
And our superpowers as creatives is that we can create things that are not there.
Hmm.
Before you and I conjured it, it did not exist in that form, in that way,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Oh, right.
And that is what makes us superheroes. That's
Hmm.
powerful beyond measure. But it doesn't mean that we're not human,
Agreed.
right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
you and I we have chatted. This is a good segue into the next question.
Sure.
You and I have chatted about the challenges of entrepreneurship. As a Black woman, navigating a particularly hard time for Black women in the workforce and entrepreneurship, what advice do you have for Black women about remaining committed to their purpose during uncertain times?
Oh, um, do the exact opposite of the thing you think you're supposed to be doing.
Mm,
And I will give examples. Almost to date, 3 years ago, I started my full time entrepreneurial journey. And it was not my choice. It was 2 days, I was let go from a role 2 days before I went on stage at South by Southwest here in Austin, a big festival, big conference that happens here. And I'm saying this because I feel like women need to say, like we as individuals who are challenged in everything we do, and it's not just women of color, it's people of the non-majority, and we are held to these levels of standards that no one else is.
yeah.
But we must be perfect. We must show up. We must give everything. We must try harder. And so I get let go. 2 days later, I go on stage with Mark Cuban and the USSBA administrator. And the reason I was let go was because of incompetence.
Mm,
And in my mind, I had to decide in that moment as I was getting ready to walk up on stage and grab this microphone and say, Natalie, you are exactly where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. In this exact moment, in this moment where I'm like, okay, my last paycheck comes in on Friday. What's next?
Mm.
And I know that there are so many individuals. And I specifically know a data point of there's over 600,000 Black women who have been laid off in the United States in less than a year. Sometimes the workplace is not where we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable. It's uncertain.
Yeah.
But if the space that's making you not well, the space that's dimming your light, the space that's keeping you in the house because you have this uncomfortable experience of going outside. Now, all of these things, right? I could keep going down lists. What if you did something entirely different?
Mm.
Because the same thing you were doing, it's had the same results.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And you could be missing out on your lightning bug opportunities.
Yeah. And I want to explain that to audience. We've made a couple of references to it, but I don't think I actually explained that to folks. So in the last this year marks 5 years since moving to Atlanta. It'll be 5 years this September. September 20 something I moved here. And I have learned a lot about myself, about community, about what it means to be a human who is living out life according to his purpose fully. And I remember being here, and over the last couple of years, I've been talking about this concept of firefly friends and how when you are a light, you tend to attract other people who are lights, but you also attract those who are like gnats or moths, right? People who are surrounded by dark, who see your light and are drawn to you, but then they often want to take or drain you.
Mhm.
Never can just allow your light to coexist with their own light because they have no light, right? And so what I love about the firefly friends that I've met in Atlanta is that, and my close friendships, especially my closer ones, we don't compare our light source. We don't compare how bright one light is over the other,
Mhm.
over each other. Right? Fireflies often travel in herds or packs, whatever you want to call it. And so you never often just see one speck of light flickering. You see a bunch of lights flickering in the evenings in the dark time, especially around summer. And I remember trying to capture some fireflies in a jar and just recognizing that there is so much power in collective liberation. In a time right now where we're living, where the world feels so dark, we need to surround ourselves by people who can light up around us, can be brighter when our lights are dimmer, does not compare or compete, celebrates others, speaks names of people who are not in those rooms with them,
Yes.
right? And I always
Yeah.
in my Living Purposely program, I've worked with people and I said, hey, I know you want to be an entrepreneur, but I actually don't think you are the entrepreneur.
Mm.
I said, there are three types of workers in this workforce: those who are meant to be 9 to 5ers, those who are meant to be an entrepreneur, and those who are meant to be a hybrid. 9 to 5,
Mm.
between on the side. And I know that's not a very popular thing to say. Authenticity is also one of my core pillars. And I have to be honest.
Yeah.
I've met people in my life who said they want to be an entrepreneur. And because I know them so well, in my head, I often say, there's no way in hell you have the fortitude, the tenacity needed, the mental clarity and strength to endure what it means to be an entrepreneur.
Yes.
I want to do what I'm doing now in my mid 20s. I could be dead right now if I did it.
Mm.
Because entrepreneurship is not for the weak.
Huh.
Entrepreneurship is not for those who are fickle and need certainty, right?
Yeah. It's really
Entrepreneurship
uncomfortable.
is not freedom, it's
Mm-mm.
flexibility. So what happens when you start to build your body to be more flexible? You gotta stretch, you gotta ache, you have to yearn, you have to prepare your body,
Yeah.
right? Flexibility is not always comfortable,
Mm-mm.
right?
Mm.
And so I want to kind of frame that because I think some people have this misconception about what it is that you and I do.
I do. Yeah.
navigate on a given day. Listen, there are days when I am crushing it. Like last week, I was crushing it, and by the end of last week, what happened? A bunch of rejection came my way and deflated all of my momentum inside.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
And today I approached it saying, today is a new week. Let's go.
Yeah.
Right. Because yesterday is gone.
Mm-hmm.
What was,
Mm-mm.
but I can't look ahead to what's next.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think people, I liked, I made a joke on a panel once and I said, I'm not an influencer. I'm not
Mm,
going to lie to you because I'm not going to sell you this dream that becoming an entrepreneur is the easiest thing I've ever done. It's quite literally the hardest thing.
same. It will
When
probably be
I,
the hardest thing you and I will ever do with our lives.
yes. And to sustain it,
Mm,
where I said to someone recently, well, I feel like I should be making more money,
yeah.
and I was frustrated. And she said, okay, let's put some numbers down on paper.
Hmm.
And let's look at, you've been a full-time entrepreneur for 3 years with no backing, with no, okay. And so she said, okay, what's your revenue, your annual revenue? And so I shared this number with her and she said, when was the last time you made six figures by yourself in your job? Like you actually took home. I said, well, my last job. She said, okay, how did that make you feel? I said, oh, I was actually sick. Like my body, I was physically sick. And the doctors couldn't figure out what was wrong with me.
Yeah.
And their only answer was, you probably should find another job.
Mm,
Because that's the only thing we can think of that hasn't changed in almost 2 years now. You should find another job.
yeah.
And when she played all of that back to me, I recognized and received, wow, I've been able to heal
Hmm.
from ailments that I had no clue what physicians had no clue what was wrong with me. They were just like, this just doesn't make any sense. Right. So we forget what that it's not what did you say? It's not freedom, it's flexibility.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think we forget what flexibility feels like
Mm,
when we're not in our purpose.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we think flexibility is my boss is gonna let me work 1 day a week from home. That's
Mm-hmm.
not really flexibility.
Mm-mm.
Oh, I get to take a half a day of my PTO to go to the doctor's appointment. That's not really flexibility. Oh,
Mm-mm.
to stay later tonight working harder, and I can get to come in an hour later tomorrow because I stayed the night before. That's not real flexibility,
No.
right?
Right. No.
And I love that you brought up the money thing because I think I talk a lot about it with my people, my community, my friends, the colleagues who I meet. I'm now in year 4 full time entrepreneurship. So year 4 just started in January of this year, and last year, year 3 was my first time bringing in 6 figures for the business.
Mm.
Tracked across 6 figures. We brought in like over 150K last year, and we're on track to cross 6 figures by Q2 of this year. And our
Yes.
advisor said our goal needs to be 250.
Yes.
So almost $100,000 more, a little over 100,000 more than what we brought in this
Let's
last
see,
year.
last. Yeah.
And the way that stressed me out, just for reference for those who are listening, I grew up dirt poor. Oprah said there's poor and there's poor, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's poor
Mm-hmm.
and there's poor. I grew up poor, okay, below the poverty threshold, single mother, um, and I never thought in my wildest dreams that I
Mm.
to grow my own business and get to the 100,000K mark and beyond in 3 years.
Yeah.
That was impossible because I am the first in my family to do this. I don't have a blueprint. I am the blueprint.
Yes.
My access to capital. I started this journey with $0 in my savings and a bunch of credit card debts. Today I have $5 in my saving and less credit card debt, but still debt.
We're winning, but that's
Right?
a win. Let me just say that. If no one has told you,
Thank you.
real, right? Real, real, real. That is a success story.
Yes. What do you mean $5? Yes, because you know what? That means I had money to be in there that I could put money in there, and I'm just slowly because I'm investing so much in my business right now. which is
Hmm.
why we're on track to cross 6 figures again, right? Because
Yeah.
I'm making strategic investments, right?
Yeah.
Paying myself with less and less and less over the last 2 months just to keep afloat, to make the contractors I'm bringing in to help us grow the business
Mhm.
stay in place, right?
Mhm.
So but I know that's not long term sustainable, right?
Yeah.
But I know it's also temporary
Mhm.
because my faith system tells me that all I need is a faith the size of a mustard seed.
Mhm.
My faith tells me that without works, faith is dead.
Yeah.
My faith tells me that I can do all things through my
Mhm.
divine creator, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is what gets me every day.
Mhm.
That is what propels me when the journey of entrepreneurship hardens my shoulder blade
Hmm.
and tightens my chest
Mhm.
and clouds my brain with self doubt.
Yeah.
This is a season. This is not my forever.
No. And you have hit on like the nail on the head, and I think, and that is the part about entrepreneurship that we don't talk about enough. Everyone's like, "Oh, be delusional," and it's like, it's not delusion.
No.
You have to fall wildly into faith.
Yeah.
This is working. This is exactly where you're supposed to be. Because I guarantee, if this you 10 years ago, 15 years ago planned, right? Because we all think we have plans. Who you are now, the story would be different.
Oh my God, so different. Even who I was 5 years ago, right? So in 2020, God put it in my heart to create the professional.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, once a lifetime pandemic, at the time I was making the most money I've ever made, 55K, at an art nonprofit dance company in the Bay Area. Okay, that's not much, but it's the most I ever made pay at the time, right? And
Yeah.
in context, my last salary in my last full time role that I quit after 3 months because these white women had me messed up was 65K.
Uh,
65K,
yeah.
right? And within less than 3 years, I myself brought in over 150K almost for the business.
Mm-hmm.
Getting to build something that allows me to be my full self, that doesn't ask me to fragment myself.
Mm-mm.
See, 9 to 5 structures don't work for someone like me because I'm multi hyphenate.
Yeah.
Because I have dimension and nuance. I'm not just one thing, I'm many things. And too often, corporations ask you to fragment yourself.
Yes.
And they say things, we're worried that you won't be able to support our brand because you have too much of your own brand. They'll say things like, you're very political. They'll say things like, you get too many requests for speaking engagements. How will you focus on your 9 to 5? Right? So then I was always asked to fragment myself. They wanted the benefit of all of me
Yeah.
and how I looked, how I showed up. They didn't actually want me to be all of me.
Mm-mm.
But
Yeah.
I'm an incomplete sentence. I'm a whole fucking human. And
That
so
hurts.
now, with my company, like my values of authenticity, clear communication, and wellness, I get to do a life, I get to live and work in a way that allows for intentional segmentation, not fragmentation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is
Mm.
the ability I needed. That is the space I need to create for myself because what I do does not exist anywhere else I've ever been.
Mm. I said to someone else the other day, we're disruptors.
Mm.
I think genuinely, as entrepreneurs, we are disruptors. I know that was a very trendy term
Huh?
during COVID, right? Oh, disrupt. We're going to be the next disruptor, and now it's unicorn, right? What some people fail to understand is that we, as entrepreneurs, are creating the disruption. We
Yeah.
see the things that are broken, and we're like, you know what? Because we understand all of these dimensions, because we live as multidimensional humans, we can go ahead and address these problems and we can actually build you a solution, like an actual solution to the problem you're having, not another band-aid, not
Yeah.
another song and dance of sorts, right? We're saying, this is the problem, here's your solution, we can do it. Do
Yeah.
you want us to do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's
And
it.
And I don't take like cookie cutter approaches. I don't record. I don't write out my keynotes, right? There are things
Mm.
that I have in place, but everything's customized to the moment and to the client.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
there's people that I know who bring in thousands of dollars and they're saying the same fucking script every single time. And those people appall me. I'm appalled by that kind of behavior.
Yeah. Because you're just a it's a recyclable moment.
Yeah.
You're not giving me anything of depth.
Right. Because you're not responding to the moment you're in.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a friend tell me, I was like, okay, so I've done this TEDx. I'm ready for what's next. I need to get out of my own way. I need to claim and own being a speaker. And she said, Natalie, what's your topic that you do? She's in marketing. And I said, well, I have a few topics that I do. I have a few areas. It depends on who I'm talking to. And she said, well, I know a guy who goes around to schools and gives the same talk over and over and over again. And they pay him $10,000 per talk. And I was like, but he's going to talk to young people, like college students? Yes. Saying the same thing? Yes. No matter where he's at? Yes. And I'm like, well, what the hell kind of impact is that?
Right.
Because if I'm in Atlanta,
Yeah.
I'm not giving the same talk that I'm giving in Boston.
Right. No. Very different.
It's a totally different audience. Like, and that's why I tell people now, I'm like, I ask multiple layers of questions of humans because I want to know, do you have depth?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or am I just seeing this person that's in this level and in this layer in this moment? I want to know, are you real? Or are
Yeah.
you just showing up for the gram, you know? And I think that's what you mentioned earlier about LinkedIn and just like being this very transactional experience. And I noticed that once I started vibrating on a different frequency, I started attracting people like yourself,
Yeah.
where I'm just like, I don't know you as a human, but I want to know you
Do you remember the
as a
first thing I asked you when we first met? That first coffee chat we did?
no.
I
I feel
asked
like I
you,
was I was so like hype girl moment. I don't even remember.
I remember asking you, so who are you? What's your story?
Oh.
That was how
Mm,
we started the conversation. It was, what's your story? It was
hmm.
what you do, who you work for, what kind of company you have. It was, what's your story?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've had the same approach to many LinkedIn intro convos. And some people are so thrown off by that. They
Hmm.
look physically uncomfortable. They're like, And that's how I know right off the bat, those are not my people.
Yeah.
Because if you can't tell me your story and how that informs what you do and how you do it,
Yeah.
we're not aligned.
Mm-mm. And you're gonna drain me.
Yeah,
Yeah. You're gonna
yeah.
drain my spirit, and I can't.
So we're almost at time, and I just have to ask you this
Yeah.
final question because um I just see a bright future ahead of you, Natalie. And I just
Thank
want to
you.
say to you, the spirit is telling me to tell you this. Stay the course. Stay the course. And pivot when you need to pivot.
Yeah.
And adjust where you need to adjust. Don't, some people kept asking me in that first year of entrepreneurship when I was bringing $0 in January, February, what are you going to do? I said, I trust
Mm,
that I have everything I need within me to do this well.
yeah.
That if I stay ready, when the right opportunity comes across my way, it will happen. And that's exactly
Mm,
how it unfolded. And so just trust that by you staying ready, by you doing the works, right, and staying true to your purpose, that the right opportunities will come.
yeah.
But don't let side quests, don't let naysayers, don't let your internal dialogue, right? Because sometimes that internal talk in ourselves, in our head, are in our voice, but not our words. They're
Mm,
replaced different by other people. And that is
mm.
not,
I'm going to say this super fast because I know we're close to time. My journey of getting here when I say I've been working on getting over myself, I've had to learn what that internal conversation was and who it belonged to,
Mm,
because so often it didn't belong to me. It was, and we call it generational trauma. I call it generational conditioning,
mm,
because it wasn't necessarily traumatic for the individuals going through it. It was just what they had to become to survive.
mm,
And every time over the past maybe couple of weeks, I have been saying out loud to God, the universe, and the powers that be, I'm ready.
mm.
I don't know what this looks like. I don't know what this feels like. I don't know what direction we're going in, but I'm ready. Keep opening the doors for me and I will walk through them.
Yeah,
Maybe a little uncertain, but I
yeah,
will still walk through them. And it's hearing you say that I receive it.
yeah. The very
Bef-
nature of faith is to take the leap even when you can't see what's on the other side,
Mhm,
right?
mhm. Yeah.
Circumstances made you and I take the leap,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Right.
But what kept us going and what keeps us going is our faith in ourself and our purpose and our community and our higher power, and just keep leaning on that. And I have to ask you because we have to wrap up soon. But
Yes, yes.
what do you hope to shift in society through your work?
Um, how we show up together.
Mm,
I think we lost the idea of community a long time ago. I think we are unfortunately being forced as a country to realize and recognize what community actually means.
mm,
And it is it is a conscious mindset shift that I want to be able to do by speaking, by writing, by connecting intentionally. But then stepping away and connecting other people in my community to other people, because the more we gatekeep, the less we can grow and
yeah.
transform. And so I want to be able to say your name in another room that you're not in,
Mm,
so that the next person can say, "Oh, you don't know Mark Travis Rivera? You should. You're in Atlanta. You should know this person." And why? Because I said they're a good human. And you
mm,
know I'm a good human. And so now this is this, instead of a what can you do for me, or what is your job, or what is your role? It's, are you a good person for me?
yeah,
Okay, let me put you together with some other people too.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I love that. I cannot wait for your next TEDx talk.
Mhm.
I'm just manifesting that for you.
Thank you.
It is my hope for you that you stay the course.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, be sure to check out Natalie. We're gonna drop all her social media, her LinkedIn, her email, or her website, excuse me. Put all that out there in the universe, and also information about Scafina and all the other ways you can connect with her and her work. Be sure to. We also will link her TEDx talk so you can watch her TEDx talk yourself. Be sure to rate, comment, share this podcast. Share this podcast with a Black woman in your life, entrepreneur, or other entrepreneurs in your life who may get some encouragement from this conversation today. And, it's a reminder that we were never meant to do this alone. You're not in this alone. We're in this together. And so please be sure to keep embracing your story and stories of others and be well. Till next
Thank
time.